Hello everyone, I'm Jack Dunigan and this is The Practical Leader. This is a second in a new series called Flipping the Switch. It has to deal with motivation, and in this one I'm going to make a brief explanation of the principle of motivation as it applies in the workplace. I cannot, because of time limitations, go very deeply into this, not deeply as I did on my blog. On the blog, I have a much longer article with a couple of background stories that will help illustrate what it is I'm saying. I'm trying to keep these videos down to a shorter length of time to make it easier for you to listen to them and see them. So I really invite you to go to thepracticalleader.com and take a look at the article that accompanies this video. Guy I've listened to a lot in respect to just recently passed away is a guy named Michael Vance, who was a consultant and a creative consultant on his own right and worked for many years with Walt Disney and then with his brother Roy, and was instrumental in heading up the development of Disneyland University, where they train all of the cast members that work in the Disney parks. And Vance is a very creative man. Talked mostly about creativity, which is why he has this affiliation with Disney. But he said this about leadership. Leadership is the ability to establish standards and manage a creative climate where people are self-motivated toward the mastery of long-term constructive goals in a participatory environment of mutual respect, compatible with personal values. Now, he said something that I have said too, and I agree with, is that everybody is already motivated. It's not a matter of creating motivation, it's already there. It's a matter of leadership, and that is beginning to inspire people to be motivated in the same direction that you want to go. And that's entirely within the capacity of effective leaders to do that. But it does take some awareness of where other people are. You can't get them to go where you want them to go until you know where it is that they are. You cannot get them to go where you want them to go until you know where it is that they are, because you got to begin where they are, not where you want them to be. And that's the number one principle of creativity. You got to begin where people are, not where you want them to be. Now, motivation happens when you establish standards for the workplace, and that's going to be standards of performance, standards of attendance, standards of participation, standards of excellence in terms of quality control and what it is that you're trying to produce, standards of customer service. Anyway, you're going to be the one, as the leader or the manager, to establish that standard. You may do so mutually, but there are certain things may be passed down from corporate or have to do with your particular constituency, but you're going to have to establish that standard. Next, you manage the creative climate. The creative climate. You got to be careful about too many policies, which tend to stifle creativity. I'm not against policies, just got to be careful about having too many of them, because then it becomes a top-down environment. And what I'm trying to encourage leaders that I work with is to develop an inside-out, or from the center-out environment rather than a top-down. You also need to understand that energy is internally driven and individually important. Individually important. That energy is already there. People are already motivated. It's just a matter of getting them motivated in the same direction that you want to go. And that's not always easy to do. For some people, it's going to be very short term. The lower people are down on the scale of activity, and usually the scale economically, the shorter their goals may be. For many people that work for me in the shop that I ran for a while, their motivation was 2 weeks, and that was when the next pay period was. For other people, they have a longer range vision, and you can work differently with them. Next, they can see personalized long-term goals if they're articulated and defined. I'm going to be talking later on in this whole series about the role of vision in the workplace and how it is that your ability to eloquently articulate that has a great deal to do with the goals. People often don't understand what they're doing in the workplace. They think they're just putting a widget onto a What's-It, and they don't see the big picture, and they don't need to see everything about the big picture, but they need to see more than that. There's a blog post that I wrote some time ago called "What Kind of Business Are You In?" and it's a good story. Go to my blog and do a search for it, look it up. Motivation happens when there exists a mutually beneficial environment. WIIFM means what's in it for me. That is that personally relevant goal that Michael Vance was talking about, and that I emphasize as well. People are motivated by self-interest. You can bemoan that if you want to, but that's the reality, and they're going to follow what's important to them. And motivation happens when what you want resonates with their personal values. And this is where I really want you to read those stories that are on my blog. If you go to the full article called "Flipping the Switch, The Art of Motivation" at thepracticalleader.com. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, you might want to subscribe below. If you've already subscribed, thank you very much. I've been seeing the subscription numbers go up, and I'm very grateful. You want to leave a comment, I'd appreciate it. Go to my blog, check it out, and read the rest of it, and I'll see you in a few days for the next installment. Thanks for watching.